Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Monday, November 14th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you are somebody that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. First off, a couple of clarification points. Number one, the price you see over here will be moving around and changing, and the candlestick you see right there will also be moving around and changing. That's because the market's still open for a small amount of time, but I like to do these videos when the market's still open for a small amount of time because sometimes you can capture some really interesting late day price movement. But everything I talk about will be relevant as we head into Monday. And then second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here, as they're called, represents 30 minutes worth of time. Stock number one here, NIO, very, very impressive move today. And now it's sitting at an interesting level here. And this level is right here at $11.75. Going through the history of the chart, you can see right there was an area of resistance. And then back here, late morning, early afternoon, once again presented a problem. But 11.75 is going to be a level that a lot of people are watching. And while there are no guarantees in the market, when a lot of people are watching the same level and wondering the same thing, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, it can produce some very dynamic movement. So again, no guarantees, but is it plausible to think that if the price comes up to 11.75 and then gets the break, that break could create additional buying pressure? That's certainly, a plausible outcome that could play out from a support standpoint. And for those of you that like to play pullbacks, interesting pullback area right there around $10.80. So keep an eye on that. But as of right now, and then just for you pattern players, have yourselves a nice little bull pennant here that is formed. So it's just a question of, can the bull pennant get continuation next week? We'll see what happens. Next one here, COSM, and we have ourselves another great looking pattern here. So it goes back to that talking point of self-fulfilling prophecies. And a lot of people are watching the same patterns, no guarantees, but it can produce dynamic movements. So the first part of this pattern, let's get drawn right here. That's going to be the resistance portion of it. Next part of it is this potential pullback point down here around 13 cents. So let me change that to green to represent more so the support dynamic of the pattern. And then just to keep it all one color again, maybe make it a bit easier to visualize. So we have our resistance, we have our support, we have the big momentum move down here. Let's put our golf hole, and then we have our bull pennant pattern. So if you like to play bull pennants, if you like to play penny stocks with good volume, then definitely keep an eye on this one. Next one, SOFI, very, very impressive move today, and now a very well-defined, in fact, yeah, okay, which I know I remember doing it. I mean, what a just nasty gap and trap. Craziness. Anyways, that's kind of besides the point. Now I'm distracting myself, but let's zoom back in here and look at more so the relevant levels. And the big level of resistance now to watch moving into next week, going to be right up there at that $6 mark. So keep a close eye on 6. That'll be that main battleground point where if the price pushes up through there, that'd be a great sign that this current, move and trend wants to get that much more continuation. Again, no such thing as a guarantee, but plausible to think that any breaks of $6, especially if it's a high volume break, to definitely be, the leading indicator of more continuation to come. For those people that like to play the pullbacks, key level right down there around $5.70. So keep an eye on that. And then also one other note, looking like the Golden Cross will be happening probably on Monday. Not that guarantees anything, but Golden Cross is always a nice little indicator and something to keep an eye on. So you can, watch that little dynamic too. But overall, $6 definitely to be that key battleground. Next one, XPEV, absolute monster move on this one. And now the price is starting to get near some interesting territory. How is quote unquote interesting territory be defined? Well, right up here at this $8.70 mark. So 8.70, which was this little resistance from back here. I was going to say price got close to it right there, but I don't know, maybe that's a bit of an exaggeration on my part. We got within the general vicinity. We'll just call it general vicinity before pulling back, but now the price is heading back up there. So it does seem to be more than plausible to think that maybe the price is going to give $8.70 another try like it did before, which just brings up that question. But this time is the price finally going to break through it and create all those breakout players to come piling in? That all remains to be seen. But that is the idea of a watch list, right? To find unique, to find interesting situations, and not randomly rush out and buy anything, but to watch it. And in that situation, to me, it's worth watching if the price can get up to $8.70. Once more for you pullback players, interesting pullback point right down there around that previous breakout area, down around the $8 mark. But in my opinion, at least the most interesting dynamic is that actually about 873-ish mark up around that area. But let's see what happens with it next week. No doubt about it. Very, very nice day today. Next one, AMC, and wow, what a move. This will mean a bit more to those of you that watched the video from yesterday, but I talked about this bullish pattern here that had formed, and you can see that earlier today, got the breakout, and from there, basically, that was a launch point, and up it went. So congratulations to anybody that took that breakout, and I'll go ahead and delete those lines out as they've served their purpose. So now we got to figure out where some next potential areas are And the next key level to keep a very close eye on, make sure this is as straight as possible, adjust this up. But this level right here, up here at $7.25, just going through the history of things, you can see back here presented some problems, there a problem, and then surprise, surprise, once again today presenting some problems. But the good news is, and this is again what makes it an interesting situation, is it's knocking on the door. So just because it's knocking doesn't guarantee that it's going to break, but at this point it is more than valid, more than realistic to think that that level can certainly be broken. But that's still going to be the main question mark headed into next week, and why why it's worth watching and keeping an eye on. So don't just randomly go and buy anything, but if the price can break up through there and you believe that's a good sign of strength, then you can make maneuvers after that. But overall, that's really what it's all about. Is my mind, I think everybody and their brother's uncle is going to be watching 725 on AMC next week. So let's see if the price can indeed get the break and then stay above that breakout point if it does get above it. Real quickly, I want to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online training that I'm offering next week. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen here and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used, and why it's so powerful in building consistency, then definitely get signed up for the training. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box. If you're watching at my site, there's an area right there on the webpage that you can click to get signed up. So like I said, if you've been enjoying what you've seen, then I want you to get signed up for the free training. Next one here, MULN, and after a day of looking very, very sketchy, where the price was flirting with that 27-cent mark, the price has recovered very, very nicely and is now starting to show signs of progress. So for those of you that watched the previous video, it was a worry because, okay, was this price going to drop back to below where it was? But no, it held strong, which when you correspond that to that previous low right there, you do have some stair steps now progressing the upwards direction, and that's what it's all about. So very nice bounce off that level. Now it just becomes a question of, okay, well, where are these next potential breakout points and next potential battlegrounds that'll need to be broken? And right here at 33 cents is definitely going to be that key level. So we have a common little theme here, and in fact, perhaps the cup and handle. Is that what's going to happen here? We have the cup, the handle is forming, but can you get the push back to the upside? That's one way you could certainly look at this pattern here. But any way you want to look at it, any terminology you want to use, whether you want to call it some sort of, pennant or a cup and handle. The point here being the common denominator is at 33 cents is going to be that key breakout point. So definitely keep an eye on that. And then as far as supports, have that purple line right there, the 50-period moving average as your ideal level of support. But even if that level fails, you still do have 27 cents down here, which, as I've already talked about, does now have a track record of holding. But yeah, overall, nice move today. Nice cup and handle. Can it get the break of 33 cents? Let's see what happens next week. Next one here, COMP. A bizarre looking chart because, this thing, just the first opening 30 minutes, boom. Next 30 minutes, boom. Even that next 30 minutes, boom, in terms of volatility. And then look at how tight this little range here got, which is just, like I said, an interesting situation and certainly worth watching and keeping an eye on. Because, the question in my mind is life going to come back to it? And then are you going to start to get some big old body candles like this again? Maybe, maybe not. But if it does happen, like I said, in my mind, worth at least keeping an eye on. So the first level here to keep an eye on of potential, a level that could create some big body candles start to show up again, right up here at 370 as that main area of resistance. If the price does pull back some more, the next key level will be that former breakout point down there around $3.20. But yeah, just a very, very unique looking chart, and one where if the volume returns back in, it does now have a proven track record of being able to move and move very quickly. So if that were to happen again and like this price range, worth at least keeping somewhere on your watch list. Next one, GOEV. Basically straight up. Not quite straight up, but very, very close to being straight up this last 30 minutes here. There has been a bit of a pullback, but really, it just becomes a question of if this movement is going to continue, where is the next key breakout point? And that's where this level up here comes into play, up there at $1.67. This was a former area of support back here. And, I guess, like I said, kind of a stretch to say it got close right there, but general vicinity right there. And then today you can see, once again, surprise, surprise, that's essentially right where it got rejected. So that'll be the main breakout dynamic to watch next week, right up, like I said, around that $1.66 mark. As far as areas of support are concerned, key pullback area going to be right down here around the $1.50 mark, so keep an eye on that. But if this does pull back more, not the end of the world, because let's just assume that it does. Let's say that it does pull back and form some sort of little channel right here. When you factor in the entire context, all you would have at that point is a bull flag pattern. Now, just because something's bullish doesn't mean it's for sure going to go up, but I'm just trying to illustrate, any sort of pullback here, not the end of the world as long as it's a controlled pullback on lower volume. But all in all, nice pattern, nice looking move. Next one here, TSLA Tesla, and quite the cruel move here. In fact, it got me today, broke down through that 185 mark, which I talked about. So now I made money on it. But then that move right there did take some of the profits away, because that was a nasty move, looking like things were breaking down, and then poof, up it went. But overall, very, very impressive move overall on Tesla. And nothing changes as far as $185. 185. That is still going to be that main area of support. Preferably speaking for you bulls out there, if the price can stay above that 50-period moving average, valued at 189, that would be best case scenario, but by no means is that some sort of must-hold level. And then as far as levels of resistance are concerned, key battleground to watch moving forward, going to be right here at, let's see, what is that? 197. You can see 197 was a former area of support back here. So that's just a classic example of a former support now acting as resistance. So keep a close eye on that. But all in all, very nice move for Tesla, and definitely some well-defined levels that you got to think a lot of people will be watching next week. So it prompts that question of potential self-fulfilling prophecies. Let's see what happens. Next one, TQQQ, which is an ETF for the NASDAQ, meaning if you think that the NASDAQ market is going to rise, and this will allow you to make money on that, but just at a much lower price point, and which is why it's the most popular ETF out there, always getting the most volume. And because the NASDAQ had a great day today, once again, this thing had a nice day and broke through that level of resistance, and up it goes. So long story short, updates are needed, and we're going to have to squeeze things down here, because as you're seeing, it's been a long time since the price has been up this high, which is always a good problem to have when you have to go back this far into a chart's history. But the next key level that you got to think a lot of people are going to be watching moving forward is this level right up here at, let's see, what is that? The $23.10 mark, which is coming from these highs from back here on October 6th. So October 6th highs right there, and now it's within striking distance. So once again, introducing the conversation of self-fulfilling prophecies, that all comes into play here, because you got to think that a lot of people have taken notice of those highs and are now going to be wondering, can the price break up through there? So keep an eye on that. And then just from a general point of view, if the price breaks through there, that's just further confirmation that the NASDAQ is not only maintaining strength, but picking up that much more strength. As far as levels of support are concerned, if there are any sort of pullbacks, key level to watch now moving forward, going to be right down there around $21.80. But all in all, very impressive movement. Let's see if the momentum carries into next week. So that wraps up the top 10. Again, if you like what you saw here, then I want you to get signed up for the free training. Like I said, it'll be next week, Thursday, November 17th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So I hope to see you there. As far as the top 10 lists are concerned, if you enjoy these videos, do two things for me. Hit that like button, leave a simple comment down below. Even if it's just saying hi, tell me what you're trading next week. But those things help out with the YouTube algorithm, and I thank you in advance for that. And like I said, little things like that go a long way. So get signed up for that free training. Hit the like button, leave a comment down below. Everybody, thanks for watching. Take care. Have a great weekend.